What's going on, everybody? Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us for anything and everything rock and roll. Of course, with a little bit of ADD. I'm Zach.
I'm TJ.
And I'm Robin.
And you're listening to Rock Detention.
I don't feel tardy.
Why'd you say it like that?
Because I was thinking about you being an auctioneer for that brief moment. You went really fast.
Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Oh, we're good, man. How you doing? How you boys doing?
Just glad it's warmer.
I'm glad we have power back.
Yes. Yeah, that was a weird. Last week was weird, man. Last week was really, really weird. The first day was cool. I really enjoyed the first day when we still had power and we still had water,
Sure.
and the snow had come down, and so it was just this white magical. It's what we all wanted for Christmas. And
Dude,
then
it felt like Christmas.
Yeah.
I warned you guys. I live in Minnesota, and I want snow for Christmas Day, maybe the week, in the New Year, and then I'm done. I'm out. But you guys are like, oh, this is cool, and now you get it.
You know, my sister said it best, man. From here on out, we want to pay to see snow. I don't need to live in it. I just want to pay to go see it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it would have sucked if I can't imagine if I came down, you guys were like, of course you come down and it snows.
You brought it with you.
Hey.
Wow.
Hey,
Anyway.
nice. Miller Lite. You wanna advertise your Miller Lite there, Robin?
Not really. I'm gonna just keep my hand around it.
Hipster Robin is drinking a Miller for our guest this evening.
If I was being a hipster, I'd be drinking something that no one had ever
a PBR?
heard of. No.
Or a PBR.
No.
When I used to go to rock shows in Austin, a lot of the hipsters would drink the tall cans of the PBR.
That's because they're cheap as shit.
I said what I said.
Yeah.
It's because
And
most
what are you
hipsters
drinking,
are broke.
Teach?
We've got of course a Celsius, brought to you by Celsius. And then in Justin's honor, we've got ourselves a Bud Light.
Absolutely.
Because Miller Lite sucks. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
Well, now we're not going to have the CEO of Miller Lite on
my
here.
God.
Thank you, TJ.
Oh my God, I blew it. I was gonna say, oh man. Well, you know what? I don't even care because I don't like Miller Lite.
Dude, you know what? It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's really not. But
If it's
not the
that or
best.
IPA,
It's better than Natty Light, and it's better than Rolling Rock.
Wow. Okay,
Okay, now we're just ruining every beer sponsorship ever made.
I'm pretty sure. Oh my! Look, Justin's texting me right now. Who the f is this guy? Wow. We don't talk about his beers that way, man. Come on.
We were gonna have a guest tonight. Anyways, thanks for joining us, and
He
love
just
y'all.
he just signed out. All right, you know what? Let's get this going, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, from Righteous Vendetta and Jonah Prill, please welcome my dear friend, Mr. Justin Olmstead.
Yep, there it was. I said so at the round of applause is when I'm in. And he's like, yeah. The big round of applause.
That's how we do. How are you, Justin? Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, good to see you guys. I'm not gonna lie. So I might do it the rest of the time anyway now after that Natty Light comment. But this whole time I was gonna call Robin bottom right, and and he was just gonna be like, what in the hell did I do to this guy? Why is he not calling me by name? But we made amends. He said that it was an accident. He didn't follow me back on Instagram. So,
hey man, social media, people take that serious.
I know. I guess we'll see what happens after this.
Yeah, unfollowed.
What are you drinking tonight, Justin?
I have a lineup of Bud Lights in my. Oh, look at that.
Oh, live on camera. Is that what you were waiting for? You're just waiting for Justin to be on the podcast?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Are
So
you
I
watching yourself on the YouTube channel?
No, I just followed him back on Instagram.
Oh.
Wow.
So this is a special occasion. So I got these big ass. Can I curse words?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
These Bud Light Illuma cans, the tall ones, from the town pump. They weren't even on sale.
So you really care.
Splurged.
Wow.
Splurged for the podcast.
Yep. It was an 8-pack.
Now, for those of us that live in cities, that have cabs in them, what is the town pump?
The town pump is I believe it's the top Montana gas station. It's Montana only.
Okay.
And I never thought about it sounding like as funny as it does, because like it sounds really redneck when you say, yeah, down to town pump. And I never thought of it until I was telling somebody about it, because to me, town pumps are big and like really nice. And somebody was like, wait, the town pump, like the town gas pump? And I was like, wow, that does sound really like trailer trash, doesn't it?
Well, dude, I remember the day you talked about it to me, and in my head, I'm thinking like one gas tank with like a little old man outside that pumps your gas for you, and he has to like pump it out with a. Like, that's just what I thought of.
He takes your money, but no change given. It has to be exact.
Exactly. No credit cards taken.
Dude, they're really nice. Their JoJo's and chicken strips are.
So
they're good.
So I have a question. I'm assuming you've toured all over with Righteous Vendetta. So
yes.
Have you ever been to a Buc-ee's down in Texas?
Oh, shit.
So I have to. So I'm asking this in all seriousness.
Okay.
I'm asking this in all seriousness. Is the town pump basically the kind of your version of Buc-ee's?
It is not near that big.
Okay.
I really hyped it up a lot more than it.
Because you were saying
Buc-ee's.
it's really nice. It's got really good food in it, and that's just always how I think of Buc-ee's. And then when you tell someone about it, you're like, yeah, Buc-ee's. It's the place with the beaver on. Okay, this is really weird to describe this to someone outside of Texas.
Yeah, dude, I went to a Buc-ee's the first time when I went down to Texas Motor Speedway, and they had one right across from the track, and it was like as big as a Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, geez, it had like a full clothing section and stuff. And Buc-ee's is the king of gas stations.
Well, it's so the biggest gas station in the world is the Buc-ee's in New Braunfels.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a Buc-ee's bigger than the one next to. Oh my goodness!
It's the biggest in the world. Not only is it the biggest Buc-ee's, it's the biggest gas station in the world.
I'm gonna do a Buc-ee's, like a vacation, Buc-ee's vacation.
I'm trying to remember where it is, but it's.
That sounds like a great movie idea.
Go to every Buc-ee's.
Oh my god.
No, I mean Netflix is taking anything nowadays, so.
Yeah.
We'll check it out.
For the record, I love small towns, and I am just giving you crap. So for any of those out there that are listening that think I'm knocking on small towns, I love small towns.
He's knocking on small towns.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I want to point out a few things in honor of Justin, everybody. I did hang a NASCAR tapestry. It's really a beach towel. I did that for you, Justin, and then also I came prepared tonight, y'all. I'm ready. All right. So
I can't reach mine right now, but I love that.
So you approved Michelob Ultra, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little rich for my blood, but
well, I didn't want to waste ice, so I got the ice packs in there. So
Miller Lite's only 1 more calorie. Haven't seen the commercials?
I was gonna say, is it Ultra like, hey, great taste, less calories, or something like that? There's always some whatever.
Yeah, they got you. Marketing got you, bud.
I think
Uh-oh, is it not a twist off?
I think it's frozen.
Oh my god.
Shit.
Here, I thought Robin was gonna be the one that screwed this up.
Okay, so
hold on, Robin. Side note, quick before I forget. I can't remember where it is, but I think somewhere in Minnesota there's a spot called Pump and Munch.
Cheers.
Small gas station. So that's all I had.
Pump and Munch?
Pump and Munch.
Really, dude? You just wanted to say munch on here?
I wanted to say pump and munch at the same time.
So, are you saying that if Pump and Munch bought Buc-ee's, it would be like
Buc-ee's
Munch,
Munch,
or Munch and Bunkies, or Munch and Beavers? I don't know. I'm sorry, I had to.
They had
this
smoked
podcast
barbecue
brought
pork.
to you by Pump and Munch and Buc-ee's.
They had smoked barbecue pork in Buc-ee's, like full on like barbecue in Buc-ee's.
It's amazing. That's what got me when I was driving from Texas to Nashville. That helped me finish the trip. Was that sandwich?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Robin, you're up.
Okay. What is the best racing sport, and why is it Formula One?
So this guy, last week, posts about hot chocolate like 3 damn times. The only adult to post about hot chocolate. Then can I just say some strikes here? You said we have time, right?
Well, it's about 64 minutes left.
Okay. So that's the first strike. Well, no, the Instagram thing was the first strike. Second was the hot chocolate. Third, we were sitting here getting ready for this podcast. He's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of hats. I'm gonna go get my hat. Thinking like a badass ball cap. I'm like, all right,
I don't have
all
a badass
right.
ball cap.
He grabs his beanie. He's like, all right, ready for the podcast. And then now he's just ripped. I mean, who watches Formula One?
Him and his roommates.
And nobody else in this country.
I'm not gonna argue with that one, but I mean, the track
I
is
will
here in
say-
Austin, so just say it.
Dude, there is a big track here, so it actually is pretty big in Austin.
Okay, that's fair. I am just a diehard NASCAR guy, and so like I only want round. I do approve of some road courses just because I go for my boy Logano, but I prefer the four corners left, man.
Hey, I will say this: getting into Formula One, the first time I really got into it was last year, and it was because my roommate moved in, and he's a huge Formula One fan. So I got into it because he was watching it all the time, and it got me to appreciate NASCAR a lot more because one of the drivers from NASCAR is a guy named Kimi Räikkönen, or from Formula One is a guy named Kimi Räikkönen, and he did NASCAR for like 2 years, I think. And he point blank said, he's like, it's a totally different beast when it comes to cars, because the way you set it up, tune it, all that stuff is just completely different. Formula One is you push your car to the absolute limit and then you slow it down and you speed it up, and so you have to tune your car that way. NASCAR is like, we're gonna put the pedal all the way down, we're gonna hold it there for like 400 laps, and it's got to keep going. And it's like,
Sounds great. Sounds like heavy metal.
yeah.
Wait till you get into Formula 2, bro.
Formula 2 goes into Formula 1. So
No, and then Formula 3.
right,
and
that's
4,
for like kids.
and 5. Yeah, it gets way better.
Yeah, those are go-karts.
Yeah, those are Formula 4 is literally carts.
And then Formula .5, unbelievable.
Well, okay, so getting, I mean that saves you a little bit. That makes up for the hot chocolate posts.
Hey,
You
leave my
gotta
hot chocolate
stop
alone.
that though, dude.
No,
What's
man.
funny?
Swiss Miss messaged
was
me. Was like
I
they
saw
shared
Robin's
they
video
shared
going
my thing
viral.
on their post.
I saw it going viral. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna go viral, and that's how the podcast is gonna blow up.
So how
For
many?
just-
Go ahead.
I love it.
So how
I
many
love
Swiss Miss followers did you get from that little post?
I got none, absolutely none. But Swiss Miss shared the little Dreamweaver thing that I did. They put that up on they shared it to their post. I was like, that's
So
funny.
you're saying that even Swiss Miss drinkers aren't a fan of you?
I don't think they
Okay, I'm
cared.
sorry.
My face wasn't even in that one. Like it just zoomed in. I literally did that just to test out the gimbal that I got. That's the only reason I did that video, was to like just mess around with that stuff and see how it works. And it worked.
Also, who follows Swiss Miss? I feel like
I don't.
all of those are bots anyway. Like nobody's like, man, I love Swiss Miss. I'm gonna go follow their Instagram and see what they're up to.
Those fake marshmallows, I'm not gonna like dog them, because what if Swiss Miss like CEO wants to be on here and like sponsor us? But
You're killing a lot of potential here
you guys
tonight,
are-
man.
Really.
Hey TJ, I'm gonna speak in code for a few seconds.
I like it.
You had an interesting week. Very busy week.
Wasn't quite a week.
Are you allowed to talk about your week?
Oh, well, in theory, yeah. Let's just say I went Friday night to Sunday. Let's say that.
Okay, so can I ask you a question about your week?
Yes, you can, sir.
Awesome. So did you get us a sponsorship from you know who?
I did not. He was in town, though.
Damn it.
But
I was
Okay.
really hoping that.
I tried every night. It was like, hey, why is that black like car over here? I think it was just the FBI or something. But, oh well.
Okay.
I was hoping it was Mr. Hagar, if you know what I mean, in Espanol, Hagar.
Well, I don't think you speak. I don't think you say the H in Spanish.
Yeah.
I think it would just be agar.
That was the guy.
I have no idea.
Sami agar.
FBI would be a good sponsor too, though. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got some good
Hey.
stories.
Name this movie. You got me an FBI mug. Yeah, but look what it says. Female body inspector. Name that movie.
I don't know if I can.
I don't know.
What is that? Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
Is it Ted?
Damn it.
No. It's with
Will
Will
Ferrell.
Ferrell.
Oh, other guys.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one.
It threw me off.
Yeah.
That's a great film. Great program.
Whenever I see FBI, I always think of that movie.
Female body inspector.
Oh man.
Excellent.
Anyway.
Since we're talking about cars, has anyone seen Ford versus Ferrari and
Yes.
or Days of Thunder?
Yes. You mean Top Gun and NASCAR?
Yeah.
Dude, Days of Thunder is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
I watched it the other day. I watched that, and then I watched the making of that. I always have to watch them.
That was the night we were texting. You, Zach,
Oh,
and I. I was like, I turned on NASCAR at 1:30, and then it was, making of Days of Thunder. I guess I'll watch this.
yeah. During the rain break.
Yep.
That was a bummer. That was the first time I found out you're a NASCAR fan.
Well, like I said, I'd love to say I'm a NASCAR fan, but like it's Daytona 500 every year, and then like a few races here and there. But I bet on Chase Elliott all the time.
I was gonna say you had money on it. That's enough to. That's more than a lot of people.
Oh, well, that was all I had last year with sports. It was
Go sports.
NASCAR was like the first thing back.
NASCAR and Formula One. That was about the only 2 sports I kept seeing any constant.
Can we just cut the shit with the Formula One?
No.
Man.
No.
Don't forget about Mario Kart.
Man, I can't even be mean to it. I was all set up for this to be like just being a pain in the ass, and I can't do it. You got that thing that I just can't do it.
It's the beanie, I think.
I think it's the beanie.
It's either the beanie, the hot chocolate, or the Nerf guns. It's one of those.
It's like the beanie and like trying to like the.
Should I turn the camera and show all the Star Wars books? I'm just gonna go down the
trying
nerd
to be
rabbit
with
hole.
the boys. You know, like you go to the bar with your boys, and then there's like that one guy that doesn't like beer, but he's like, Yep, this is good.
Yay, beer.
Yay, beer.
Go beer. I love beer. Go beer.
All right, sorry. I hope I'm not taking this too far off of topic for what you guys like to do.
We go a little bit of ADD, as it says.
Do we have a topic tonight?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
but
good.
A couple, but yeah.
What are you talking about, Robin? Anyway, look,
you didn't read the description to the show tonight, did you?
I didn't read the description, but I thought it was great. What did it say? Like a piece of righteousness or something?
No, it's the name of the episode.
Night.
The name of the episode is A Righteous Evening with Justin Olmstead. But then I put down at the bottom, like in the description, it just says Justin joins us tonight on the podcast. I don't know what we're discussing, but tune in.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice.
Well, so far, so good.
If you
Why
look
we
at
have 0 viewers?
Hey, we have 8.
teams,
Is there 8?
There's 8, and we've gotten 1 thumbs up already.
Nice.
Hey, let's get that 1 thumbs down and let's really make some noise.
boys,
That
let's
evening
quit while we're
still
ahead
cracks
and
me
just
up.
end the show.
Ah, dude, this is going great.
Well, we
Even
went
one
down
more.
to 7 viewers. Good job. Good job, Zach.
Damn.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I want to first start out. Everybody, we had Ryan Hayes on. He was one. I think he was our second guest actually,
Yep.
and that's the lead singer of Righteous Vendetta. And I actually met Justin the same exact night that I met Ryan. Makes sense because they play in the same band.
What a coincidence.
It all lines up. Yeah.
It all makes sense now. But yeah, we met in the.
Oh God.
Someone just gave us a thumbs down.
Yes.
Thanks, Tosh.
Who?
Oh, they changed it. They changed it to 2 thumbs up now.
Okay,
Who
there
the
we
hell's
go.
Tosh?
My girlfriend.
TJ's lady.
Did she give me a thumb down?
Well, just for fun, I'm sure. And then, who knows? I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
it's
I didn't
maybe
even
it's
know.
all my friends.
Yeah, who knows?
All right.
Maybe it's all
well,
Justin's friends. Maybe no one's watching me anymore.
Maybe. My wife's probably one of them.
What's up, Cass?
Maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, so Justin and I met in the back of wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
weird.
word this carefully.
Happened.
Or not.
We met in the back of Counts Vamped in Las Vegas. Shout out to Vamped, Corey and Danny. Love you guys. Love Vamped. Thank you for keeping rock and roll alive in Vegas. The best rock club in Las Vegas. If you're ever there, definitely go and check it out. It is awesome. And I think I heard through the grapevine that they just started shows back again. So
I'm down.
that's good to know.
Let's
yeah.
go.
So yeah, I just and the reason that I was so like enthusiastic towards Righteous Vendetta was they're great band, but what really sold me was their ending. They had I judge a band by the intro and the outro, and I only caught like their last 2 songs, but their outro was phenomenal, and so I had to go find them. So I went into the back and fast forward.
Did your thing and.
Absolutely, dude. 7 years later, here we are, dude. Bro, I think I met you with a Michelob Ultra, and I'm interviewing you with a Michelob Ultra.
Out in the parking, you had a Mick in the parking lot.
Actually, I probably had some bourbon. I was probably drinking bourbon out of a water bottle.
Yeah, out of like an Aquafina bottle. Yeah, I do remember that.
That's probably how you met me. For the record, I am not an alcoholic. I don't even drink much.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, you want to rephrase that?
I have a sip every once in a while, but I hate being drunk actually. Anyway, so yeah, we met back then, and here we are, man. And so what's going on with you? Are you still touring? Are you still with the band? Are you still working with Ryan? Like, what's your story?
Yeah. So I actually just stopped touring. Must have been like November, December. Of not this last year before. It was honestly, they only did 1 tour before everything, stopped. So I didn't really miss all that much yet, but, I toured with them. Ryan and I started the band in 2008. And by 2010 we were touring full time, and like right out of college, we just started doing 200, 250, 300 days a year. And so did that for over a decade. And yeah, it just came that time where I was like, I'm just not a touring guy anymore. I'm not a performer anymore. Chiropractor bills were building up.
Sure.
I would have to go to the chiropractor after every single tour, sometimes during it. And then, so I'm not touring anymore, but, Ryan and I are still working. I still write for the band and do all that. And, so just cut off the touring. Right
on. So you're on the production side of things. Like that's kind of what you've moved towards.
Yep. And it's definitely, especially the quarantine thing, it's definitely taking a toll, because like other projects that I have, like graphic stuff, kind of shut down. So being like strictly creative with music, I actually just went and got a job, because it was so hard to like write music like 7 days a week just in a small room,
Understandable.
But yeah, no, so I'm doing the writing for Righteous Vendetta, Jonah, and then I write for a publishing licensing company too.
Right on. Which I want to get more into that later. I'm trying to. Told you, man, I got a syllabi that I got to go with.
I know.
Here.
Yeah, we went over it a few times.
Absolutely, man.
Oh, man, I'm glad you went over it with someone.
We were debating whether to bring you on, man. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Only me and Zach.
One second. Let me make sure.
Compose yourself.
I jumped it. Well, no, I wanted to say something funny, Robin, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Insert joke here.
Absolutely. Well, it says in parentheses, say something funny, but
like, something funny. There you go. Done. Here we go.
I mean, I'm asking you this because I'm a touring guitar player, and like what was going through your head when you thought, like, man, I'm about to pull the trigger on a decision, like something I've been doing for 10 years, something I love, like what was going through your head? Was this a dark time? Was there negatives to touring? Like where does this come from? Because I can't imagine saying, all right, I'm done touring, man.
Yeah. And I would probably say that my situation is 100% different from most people's situation. I I can't imagine there being that many bands out there that have toured 10 years and not made a single penny as their members haven't made a single penny. Like we toured 300 days a year and we didn't even get food per diems or anything. It was either do 150 days a year and like take care of everything's financially, or tour 300 days a year and just figure out how to make it work. And when you're young, that's fine. But then as you start getting older, and then a culture starts developing, and each band has their culture. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about the culture of their bands, especially while they're still active. It's,
you just hear, you see the good things, the glam and the glitz.
Yeah.
But it's not always that way.
Yeah, and it's never really particularly anybody's fault. It's just the way I see it, and I'll keep it as general as possible, just because I'm like, my situation is different from somebody else's. But overall, if you have a band that extends over 10 years, a certain thing's always going to happen. You always have one or two people that have been in there from the beginning. You always have so it all starts out, everybody's cool and chill, and everybody's starting from scratch, invested the same. Like it's that 2 years down the road, 3 people leave. So then you got 2 people and then some new people who are green and don't understand. Whereas those other 2 people do feel like they understand, but it's still kind of cool and chill and it's okay. Sure. But then that snowballs, and before long you have, somebody that comes in after you've been, like for example, if at a certain point those original members are like, okay, we can't do sleeping on floors anymore, we have to start doing hotels and stuff. So you start doing hotels, playing bigger shows, playing bigger gigs, your song's on radio, you have a record label, all this stuff. Then these new people come in are like, man, this is what being in a band's like. This is easy. Like, this is great, Sure. And so then to them, it's like, all right, yeah, let's just balance this out. This is cool. I can't wait for everybody to start getting paid the same and everybody be rolling in it and this and that.
Sure.
Whereas then the original guys are like, man, like this is a bummer, because you sacrifice so much and do all this stuff, and then there's just, it never fails. No matter what situation, there's going to be different levels when they join in, and different personalities over the course of a decade. And then you got different lifestyle situations where, somebody can't, somebody can ask, if somebody runs out of money, they can ask their parents for $1,000. If Sure. This other person runs out of money, they have to sell their pants
Sure.
to pay for some cheeseburgers,
Or the other guy has to ask for $2,000 for the other 1,000.
Right.
Right on.
Exactly.
I want a very, very honest answer with what I'm about to ask.
No, lie. That's what we just want. Lies. That's all we want.
No, it's what's funny is because my notes are very scatterbrained, because I'll think of something.
Hey, Justin, have you ever sold your pants, by the way, before Zach figures out what he's thinking?
I actually don't think I've sold my pants, but
have you donated to Goodwill or anything? Or just you sold them one day? You're like, oh, I need $1, Whataburger, or Bucky's ribs.
Bucky's ribs.
Pulled pork.
I've sold gear. I've definitely sold pedals, and there has been stuff sold. Not pants though. I haven't sold pants. That was an exaggeration.
Never sell your pants, because those pants you probably broke in a few shows. Like, yeah.
They've got some
Yep.
stake in there.
Yep.
No, the reason I laughed is because the first question I saw when I looked down, like, we're in a serious moment, and then all I read is, "What's your favorite beer?" So that's why I started laughing.
I thought you ordered this syllabi.
Well, I did, but it's
numbered
out of order. It's out of order on my paper, but it's in order right now.
I feel like you ordered from like Spark Notes.
But I mean, might as well. What is your favorite beer?
Busch Light.
Busch Light. Okay, not Busch Natural. Busch Light.
Don't give me that face. Look at bottom right over there.
I was just like, because there's a comment up here that says, "Where's the Busch Light love?" And so I was like, "There's the Busch Light love."
There we go.
Just like,
It's
Now,
in my
Busch,
fridge. I just going fancy tonight.
Does Busch Light have the I am gonna get reamed a new one for this. But is that the one that the can turns blue when it's cold enough?
That's
Coors.
Coors Light.
That's Coors.
Coors Light.
All right. Well,
3 out of
Busch
4
Light comes out with the
podcast
100 cans.
people can know this question.
Even I knew that one, Zach.
all right. At me, bro. At me. Go follow me at Zach Attack if you have a problem with it. What up?
Yeah, Robin's gonna follow you on Skype now too.
Yeah.
There
He
you
ain't
go.
gonna follow you on nothing. I know.
Let's see here. So okay, I do want pure honesty on this. I'm trying to let me make sure. Basically, you know what? I'm just gonna ask the broad question. What advice would you give to a younger generation, not necessarily a kid, but let's say 18 right out of high school, that says, I want to be a touring musician. This is what I want to do. What is your honest advice to them?
Definitely to be careful about who you're with and who you're around while you're moving forward, and look forward on how a culture is going to move forward. If that makes sense, like definitely take into account how everything's working as it's going, and look at the financials of it and see where your spot is in whatever group you're with. Which seems, it seems really simple, but it's one of those things where I feel like that's what nobody takes into account is being careful with, what a potential 5 years down the road could look like in the way that the culture is moving within the group. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think so. That was really deep. I don't way deeper.
I don't think in my entire career of playing music, I don't think I've ever heard that kind of advice given when that question's been asked. It's always been like, and it's always that whole thing of just, well, just make sure you know the tunes, or just make sure that you have your money in order. Like don't get too crazy with your money, or like, if you're on the road, make sure you've got bananas and peanut butter, because that stuff always never goes bad. And bananas go bad, but like it's it's good in potassium, and it's they're easy to eat. And so I've always heard advice like that, but that's a piece of advice I've never heard, nor have I really ever given it that much thought about that stuff.
And where this question comes from is and I'm probably guilty of this, but I am so sick of the sugar-coated answer that everyone gives, and this is for this isn't just music, just anything. Follow your heart, man, and do what you love. Sure. But like, for real, what's your advice? Like,
right.
We all have to follow our heart and do what we love. But
typically it's like, you better love what you're doing, and I get that. And that's like, if Justin said that, I'd be like, okay, well, we got that answer again. But
yeah,
cool. There's number 25 for the 25th episode.
And also, why I know potassium comes from bananas. Honey, I Shrunk Ourselves.
That's great.
That's a great program as well.
Well,
I do enjoy that one.
Do you say supper? Like, what other words do you
Sometimes
use?
It depends on how fast I'm talking.
Yeah,
or
like if you're
what
Zach
word
at
is
the
following.
intro. If you're Zach at the intro today, it was an auctioneer.
I guess I was kind of fast.
Yeah. Welcome to Zaz, Righteous Vendetta. I'm Zach. I'm TJ.
If I showed up to an auction and my auctioneer looked like Zach right now without knowing Zach, I would be so excited.
Sign up every time. I wouldn't even know what I bought.
Like, just picture him like coming up just dead serious, just I'm gonna that would be
65, 65, 65, 65, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70. Yeah, I'm going once, going on 75, 75.
Have you seen the video of someone put like a backbeat to a bunch of different auctioneers?
Yeah, like a hip
hop beat just like behind them.
Hey, if we say it on like YouTube Live, is it ours? Is it copyrighted? Because like we should do a Boomhauer backbeat. Although it's probably been done. Like Boomhauer gone down, gone down.
You should have kept that a secret and just told us after.
Man. The
I just got so
aftershow.
excited. I got so excited, and what if I forgot, and then it was like lost?
That's true.
You know.
Now it's recorded. Yeah. But sorry for the off. We can get back to the.
Now
meat and
Fox is gonna
potatoes.
come after us. Like they're gonna shut this episode down.
So, you kind of already answered this, but I did want to say, like, how do you stay sane, always working on music? And I guess your answer is getting the side gig.
Yeah, I may be the first person that went out and got a job to break up
The monotony.
and it's mainly just because like the opportunity that I was able to fall in. I mean, I have the exact opposite problem that a lot of people have. I have these opportunities and not enough creativity, whereas most everybody is like, I have all these songs and I can write a song in 30 seconds. I just need that. I need that break, but working with Ryan's always lining up opportunities for me. And then the licensing gig, it's like, I can turn in however much music I want. And I was just like, I would sit down and I would just be on the same frets and this, especially when I'm doing it all by myself, programming the drums, programming bit, like doing everything. I'm just like, man, everything sounds the same. And I think everything sounds really bad. So I applied for some jobs and I got one and I'm really liking it.
And before I forget, huge congratulations to you and Cass, because I know you're going to be a daddy soon. So.
Yep. Thank you. Another round of applause. Thank you.
You get 2 round of applauses, man.
I know. I like that.
And a round of applause to Cass for making you look good tonight, because she helped you with all the camera stuff, right?
She helped with the light. Yeah, it was a little bright, so there's a bunch of like shirts stacked on top of it, and she was just like, are you sure you want to wear that? Are you sure everything's? I'm like, yeah, it's good. It looks good.
Dude,
Pick your
several
battles.
years.
Pick your battles.
Pick your battles.
Several years after I met Justin and Ryan, Justin was out with his wife in Vegas, and we hung out on Fremont Street. Went and saw Spandex Nation.
No, it wasn't.
Are you sure?
Oh.
Yeah, it was. It was
plug,
their
though.
other.
Nice plug.
That was great. It was their other gig, but they played Def Leppard because we requested it.
Okay. Listen, it's the same exact guys, just without the costume. Okay.
But they're not. That wasn't
don't
called
tell
Spandex
people
Nation.
that.
Yeah,
They
that'd be
don't know
like going and seeing the Spasmatics band out of costume. Then they're not the Spasmatics.
Well, thank you for calling me out on live air. You could have just been like, "Yeah, dude, it was great."
Oh man,
Yeah,
there was something
or-
else I
no.
was gonna call out on live air to you. I'm gonna remember this.
It'd be like seeing the band that starts with an S and their second band name is a P without the what on the.
Ooh.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's like Spandex Nation. Don't Steel Panther.
Oh,
No, I know. Where are you getting
yeah,
at?
like,
I'm
That's
just saying
the
like
ultimate call out, dude.
Spandex Nation without the hair. Come on, bro. Robin, can you edit this last 2 minutes?
nope, I'm not editing anything.
Now
I'm
Steel
gonna let
Panther
this
ain't
just
getting on
sit
here.
here.
Okay. Well,
We can get back to the good stuff now though.
what was the good stuff?
The deep stuff.
Oh, the deep stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
right on. Well, okay. So obviously we went from the touring side. So now let's get to what you're doing now, which is movie placement, TV placement. I already forgot what we
licensing.
called it earlier.
Sync licensing.
Honestly, I don't even really know what it's technically called. I just know who to send the albums to.
Right on.
But it's primarily like sports network placement. So the luckily the producer that did our album called Cursed, that producer got like promoted or co-owns like the promotion company or the licensing company he was working for, and he needed somebody to take his place. So he was like, hey, can you like send me like full albums of just random like themes? And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. And that's been really cool because like have you guys ever been around like the publishing world at all? Like, like the like background music of cooking shows and sports and stuff.
Okay, sure.
It's
I love background music.
Yeah, background music's great.
It pays.
It's like yes. So yeah, he had me. He was just like, well, start off by writing stuff that you've always written, like write Righteous Vendetta, but with no vocals, and we'll just see what happens. And so then I write 12 songs for this themed album, and it's fairly generic, and that's what I love about it. It's a little less, it's not like we need this single, we need this abstract track, we need you to form this perfect record. It's just like if you write something that you think could be on a NASCAR race or a Traeger commercial.
Hi, yes, bottom right here.
Bottom right.
Hipster Robin.
Are you writing full songs, or are they like more like a minute and a half or 2 minutes? I mean, 2 minutes is a full song, but yeah.
Yeah, they're full songs, and usually they're depending on the genre. Like if it's a heavier genre, they usually are between like 2 and sometimes go up to 3. And then you make edits. Like 15-second, 30-second, and then each ending has to be like a stinger. You got to have like that, stuff that they can end a commercial with or something. So yeah, they're full songs, but then they always take just a tiny chunk of something.
I've always wondered that. Are they writing full length songs, or are they more just like, here's a minute and a half, here's a stinger at the end?
Yeah. And the one important thing with it too is every single part has to be like a progression of another part, because that's how you get placed. Like people want to know they're getting the most out of what they're buying, these networks. And so, they want to know that they have a lead for verse 2 that they can play if there's like something more going on or no talking or something. They want like a guitar solo. They want a big bridge part. They want like a big ending. So each song has to progress, and no part can be the same. But it also doesn't have to be perfect. It's just like literally 1 sec.
Yes, top left.
Like you can there's even a raised hand. You can even just like put, during the second verse, put like a sustaining like note over top of it. It's not like it's a huge thing, but it's just compositional stuff to keep in mind. Yes, you're on my left, on my screen. Yes,
top right. Got it.
Thank you.
Oh no, top left now.
Thank you. I'm biggest fan. Big fan.
Yep.
So, oh, I forgot what I was gonna ask. Does everything you do in the sync world, does it have to be loopable, so that if they needed something, if they like loved a bridge or something, is everything to where it can easily be loopable and it's like it just works? Does that make sense, what I'm asking?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I don't really focus on that in particular, because you send the stems. So you have like, you send your full stereo mix of the drums, and then the full stereo mix of your lead guitars, your rhythm guitars. So they can piece together it's all mixed already. But then they get the stems so they can decide what they want playing at any given time.
Now, do you secretly make the guitar solos like really freaking loud, like just because you're a guitar player?
No, because I'm self-conscious of playing guitar solos.
Okay, for the record, for everyone who's listening, he is a monster guitar player. Okay, I love Justin's playing. He is very tasteful. Gets great tone.
Like this podcast.
Oh my gosh, shush! I just said shush. That is not rock and roll.
Well, that's the opposite reaction that I thought was going to happen. But okay. Bud Light's kicking in now.
I have to say something. Okay, you both play rock and roll. Can we get a little less humble here and more into like the rock and roll of like, I'm awesome and I kind of know it?
There it is.
Oh my gosh, dude! Your grandma just said, "Why did you do that?"
Oh man, I'm waiting for a text. Justin, you need to stop.
Well, I do have a quick question for Justin, because he talked about cursed. Like, and I did a little post today. The Stranger song, like that intro and everything, like a transition is beautiful. I love that. I don't know. That's why I posted it. And you could have been like, "Screw you, bro. I don't like that song. Why did you post that?" But I love that song, and it gets heavy from like being like sexy Western almost a little bit. Or
yeah,
I don't know.
Thank you. I really like that song. I enjoyed how it turned out. Yes.
Thank you. So I too posted something about that song today, and I asked Justin, "Hey, did you play this solo? Because it's awesome." And he responds, "Who the F do you think played it?" And I'm like, really, dude? I'm trying to give you a compliment here. So then I took away my compliment and said, so what hired gun did you hire to play that awesome solo, dick?
Hey, so it's all about presentation, Zach. So let's not get aggressive here. It's that Mick Ultra kicking in. I know.
I know, man.
Fight through it. Fight through it, bro.
I've had one and a quarter.
It's like there was a song in a band with one guitar player, and he asked who played the guitar.
There's not one guitar player. The first time I saw you, there was two.
Now there's 0.
Hey, man, you need one?
I'll do the rhythm guitar, Zach. You take the lead.
There you go. Yeah,
Actually,
doesn't Robin play everything?
He does.
I got a little bored, but yeah.
Well, he's not a flautist, but
Including playing a hipster on the Tonight's podcast.
Yep. Do you own a build ball cap? You live in a sunny area.
Yeah, I've got a few. I usually only wear them whenever I go out on a boat. I don't know why, but that's the only time I really ever wear them. I used to wear hats
against the rules? Can I see one? Can you put one on?
Jesus. Yeah, hold on.
He's like, this is the absolute worst.
hey, guys, he can't hear us right now.
Nope.
All right, we got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey,
and go.
Cheers, boys, by the way.
Yeah,
the roast of Robin. Oh. We tried.
Wait, did he grab?
All right.
Oh, I thought he grabbed
headphones here.
sunglasses too.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just waiting for him to put his headphones on.
Wow, I can't do this.
He's like, this
Being
is the
put on the
worst
spot,
guest.
okay?
And that's why we love Swiss Miss.
So obviously I've got my favorite baseball team. The
Duck
Astros.
down a little bit.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they don't cheat at all.
We'll get there. I don't know why I bought this one, but I did. I bought it years ago. It's one of those
Choo,
like short build. Yeah, I don't know why I bought
like
that hat, but I did.
like the army ball cap things.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
That's
It's I can't remember the style of cap. And then I've got just a black Hurley hat that I've had for years. So
I'd
Very
say,
cool.
yeah, rock the Hurley hat backwards, probably.
Yeah.
I
it
don't
doesn't
know.
fit very well on me. It's got like it.
I don't think anybody that's worn a Hurley hat in their entire life, it's ever fit well. And it's always backwards.
They bought it because it was at Zoomies.
Right?
I used to work at
Make a
Zoomies.
meme out of that.
Did you?
Robin,
There you go.
So
There's where you got your Hurley hat.
just put the My Chemical Romance hat back on.
Thank you for trying those on.
There you go. But no, I worked
He
at
gets a
Zoomies.
round
It
of
was the
applause.
shortest job I ever had.
The shortest job you ever had?
So it was the shortest job I ever had. I worked there for 5 weeks. I was fired because they didn't let me know that they had changed the schedule. So I showed up to the time that I had like written in my calendar, and they were like, "You were supposed to work earlier." And then they called me the next day and were like, "Yeah, we're gonna just have to let you go." And they never paid me.
Jeez.
Plot
That sounds like
twist.
one of the situations where everybody that works there is just a douche, and they're like, "Yeah, this guy ain't cool. What can we get him for?" And
was
they
funny
just
is
Plot
that-
wait.
twist.
What was
Plot
funny is
twist.
that like
Zoomies
everybody-
sponsors us.
Yeah, right. Like everybody that I worked with there, except for the manager, everybody that I worked with there, like was
Skateboarded.
super nice, but the manager was a dick.
Oh,
That'll do
not
it.
having him on now.
Good, I don't want him on here. I'll just openly say that because he
Alright,
didn't
but-
pay me.
And now we're getting sued.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that's illegal, but anyway.
Well, I got
Um,
they what they did is so when you fire somebody, apparently I did it in Texas. I know this. When you fire somebody and it's before the pay period, the money they can either come in and get it if they want to. The company can send it to you, or the company sends it to basically like it's a thing that in Texas where like I had to log on in order to find out that I had money from them. It was like $150 or something.
yeah.
So
Nice. For like
I
80
collected
hours
it.
of
I
work.
collected it like 7 years later.
Well, that's great. Good for you,
It
man.
probably felt good right then, though, when you
It
were
was
like,
like
"Oh,
a
150
savings
bucks."
bond your grandma gave you. Nice. Look at this 7 years later.
"This is great."
Oh my god.
All right, Justin, how do you feel about mullets?
Mullets?
Yeah.
I really appreciate them.
As do I.
I'm a TikTok user. Are you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, you are. Yeah, I follow.
I haven't
Oh,
been able to
here's
come
the
up with
deal.
anything yet.
Here's the deal. I would. how do I say this in a nice way? I hate TikTok, but if it's used for like the right reasons, like guitar and stuff like that, or something funny as opposed to dancing, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
You got to get your
The
you gotta
dancing
get your
thing,
feed lined
forget
up.
it. Forget it.
Zach, like the first time I got it, Zach pointed out, because I would send him videos. I was like, dude, this is fucking hilarious. Oh, wow, this is like so freaking interesting. And he's like, man, your For You feed is so different than mine.
Well, and if you're going to use it for hot chocolate, that's another thing.
Yeah.
This,
Yeah, I don't even want to know his TikTok feed.
Pouring marshmallows.
it's just
like
all
this.
comedy. It's just all comedy and music. That's all it is. So
Mine is
mine too.
Guess what mine is. Just guess.
Fishing, NASCAR,
Beer.
and welding.
Just beer. And
Really?
monkeys. Beer and
Yes.
monkeys.
Yep.
The baby monkeys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know who designed their algorithm, but it is very accurate.
It's spot on, dude.
Seriously.
TJ, you got to give it another shot, man. You got to
It knows
use it
what I
long
want.
enough to where your algorithm picks up.
Well, I just see stuff on Instagram and stuff, and like, hey, before, you probably don't know this, but January 1st, like, I had never posted. These guys know this, but then I said, all right, I'm gonna do 365 posts this year. I'm bored as shit right now. Then I keep coming. I'm like, Jesus, like, I don't know. Here's me when I was 7, whatever.
It's hard, dude.
Yeah,
It's
and
hard.
people do this every day. I'm like, I ain't got time for this.
You know
But
what
I'm-
you know what you
I'm
can do,
sticking to
TJ.
it.
We've
I
talked
don't
about
do the Facebook. I could just
yeah,
post
we've talked about it on the
all my
podcast.
stuff
You
for,
could
like,
like at
30
the
days.
beginning
No.
of the month just come up with like 30 pictures and be
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm gonna post this one this
I'm
day.
more of a man than that, and I'm more impromptu than that too. So,
TJ, you could just post pictures of Swiss Miss hot chocolate.
ooh, Robin would follow me back like on different accounts.
I'm already following
too,
you.
Like his...
Every
No, I'm saying different accounts. You come up with like a hot Swiss Miss account or something like that, and he'd follow me. I'm like, oh, who's hot Swiss Miss?
every day from
Ooh.
about 10 to 12, if I open my phone to Instagram, it's you at the top of my feed. It's from 10. If I open it between 10 a.m.
Swiss Miss
and 12
first,
p.m.
then TJ.
Nope, it's always TJ first. And every time I look at it and I'm like, how does he do that? Like,
Okay,
I
all
follow
right.
huge accounts and I'm like, I don't see them ever.
Let me just say something. For our 25th, like, this is the most ADD podcast I think we've had, and I'm loving it. We never talked about NASCAR until today, I don't think, either, or cars, or Days
was
of
gonna
Thunder,
say-
maybe once, but
Yeah, I apologize for that. But
No,
even
I'm
if
pretty sure I
nobody
brought
else
up Days of
enjoys
Thunder
this,
so we're good.
Well,
There
okay.
you go.
My great uncle's neighbor's sister just texted me that we need to move on. All right, here we go.
all right.
I don't know. I thought it sounded funny in my head.
It was, I was
Um,
going
a lot
to
of
laugh,
things
but then
sound
I
funny
thought you
in
were
your head.
serious. Yeah. I kind of got excited, and I was like, she's watching?
Okay,
awesome.
so I'm about to wrap up the TV film stuff. I back to the question on what advice would you give to musicians wanting to tour? What advice would you give to the younger generation that is wanting to get into producing? What is it basically? I mean, it can't be the same answer because you're doing it alone.
Right.
So
And it doesn't bum me out.
there you go.
There you go. No, for that stuff, it's definitely like the biggest thing, and I know it's going to be very hard for a lot of people, and a lot of people are just gonna be like, this guy, no. But like, definitely know what's hot, and like, and find what to appreciate in any kind of genre. Like, I mean, I would say the biggest genres in America are modern country and pop music. Is that fair?
Sure. Where do
Yeah.
you put hip hop in there? Is that part of pop or is that its
Hip
own-
hop's up there too,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
hip hop I feel like kind of melds with pop, especially right now.
It's all the same.
But all of that stuff, like, I feel like ever since Nickelback syndrome, that's what I call it, Nickelback syndrome.
I love
Ever since
Nickelback.
where it was, ever since it was cool to hate Nickelback, there's always this like stigma behind a certain genre or a certain band. And I used to be that way too, and I had zero creativity because I was like, okay, well, that sucks. If I do anything like that, then, I mean, people only like that music because they are brainwashed to like it, and so I can't do that. I can't do this, and like, there's a reason that people like those mass genres. You know, it's not a brainwashing tactic. There's a reason. It's a groove. It's scientific. I mean, groove and melody and harmony, and you know, it's all very calculated.
Sure.
For better or for worse. And so I definitely would say to find what you appreciate in all of those and incorporate it into anything that you do. And that, I think that's the biggest thing that holds a lot of people back right from the start, because it hinders how they learn and how they progress, because they're trying to capture this one genre of music.
On that note, Hinder wasn't a bad band either.
Dude, I loved Hinder. Lips of an Angel is still one of the biggest anthems.
What's so funny is that so there's a guy down here in Texas, Jack Ingram, who recorded that song, and he had a big hit with that song literally right around the same time as Hinder did.
Like the country version?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was okay, but yeah, the way that Hinder did it was, there was just something about the way that they performed and produced that song that it's anthemic.
Yeah, it's that guy's voice, man. There's just something that was just the way that a lot of people make fun of it. You know, like it's one of those like Scott Stapp voices that people make fun of.
Okay.
But it's like, dude, it just
I have a
works.
Scott Stapp story.
Yeah. Well, hey, on the note of like rhythm and all that stuff, I watched the Bee Gees documentary.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then I found like 5 other bands already that had like the same background drum beat. And if it's not the same, it's minuscule how close it is.
Because you can't copyright a drum beat.
Yeah, so it's like just this little, like another little cymbal or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, dude, it's insane. All the big producers that I know, well, not big, but you know, all the successful people that I know, like none of them are like oh man, Nickelback sucks, Imagine Dragons the worst band in the world. Oh, there's like nobody that I know that's successful is like that. Everybody that is successful is like, yeah, that's cool, I'll listen to it, but I get it.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Well, Dark Horse by Nickelback's one of my favorite albums. It's up there.
Dude,
like, it's
that
good.
Was beast.
And Imagine when they came out, like that first album was awesome. Like it wasn't like all rock, but after that maybe they teetered, sure. But Nickelback always had like they do like the hits. They'd be like, here's a single, it'd go number 1, number 10, whatever, and then the rest of the album just heavy, and you're like, no way, this is awesome.
Yeah, but nobody listens to that because it was cool to dislike Nickelback.
Correct. And then now people are coming around. It's like, don't wear skinny jeans, Nickelback rules, and don't part your hair or whatever. It's like, what? Like,
I know. I'm gonna be pissed when people start to like Nick. I always hated when people hated Nickelback, but now if people start liking him again, I'm gonna be like,
yep, no, get out of here.
You don't get to like them.
Yep.
That's the one band you can't like.
You can't. Give me your iPod.
Yep.
I'm erasing it.
Yep. You didn't even have a wheel. You didn't even have a wheel with the iPod. You don't deserve
your brother's
one.
aunt's sister, is she texting still? Is your brother's aunt's sister texting?
Oh, it's like,
or are we still
good?
Who
the hell are you talking to? No, they're not. You know what? Could you, in a few words, walk us through, from the writing process to pitching your song to your TV guy, like in 2 sentences, 30 seconds. Walk us through that process.
I wrote it. Here you go.
Honestly, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to. Okay, you set rules to it. 2 sentences in 30 seconds. Those are going to be run-on sentences.
Use as much as you need. I don't
use a semicolon if you must, or
okay. Do I have to say where it is placed, or is it insinuated?
No.
Country of origin, please.
Okay. No. So
and if
honestly,
you use the Oxford comma wrong, I'm going to be mad.
Okay, you went too far. You went too far.
So
okay, hipster beanie guy, let's go.
See, Mom, all of this English is still sticking in my head.
I usually think of it as like the full record, and I honestly just kind of get on a freight train. What's nice is I don't really have to pitch it because, like I said, the standards are lower, and so that's kind of why they hire a certain, like that. That's why he asked me to have this slot, because he knew that like I'm not going to give him anything that can't be used. Some stuff isn't that great, but it's all gonna be like radio quality enough for TV quality. Because if you go and listen to like publishing songs or licensing songs, like on Spotify, as you're listening to them, you're like, this is really lame. But when it's with when it's with imagery, you're like, hell yeah! Like when it's in a Traeger commercial and you hear like, you're like, all right, I need a Traeger. This is great. So each album has to be themed. So I usually just try and freight train it. Like I find a tempo that I like. I'll go and listen to a bunch of songs in the genre, and I'll just tap a tempo out. And whatever tempo I tap out, I won't use anything from that song that I tapped out. But then I'll go and find another song and find another vibe. And I'd put that vibe with that song, and then I'd start from there. And try and kick it out in less than an hour and a half. That's I set a timer and try and get it done within an hour and a half. Because then I'm not
2 minutes.
Yeah, one tune. Yeah.
Wow.
But like I said, it's not. Go ahead.
You'd be amazed how, as a writer, I encourage you to try and do this, Zach. Write a song like what he's talking about with no melody, or no real defined melody, because remember, it's all behind stuff. So you're not having to think of lyrics, and you're not having to think of like a really out front melody. You could put a melody in, but it's not a very out front melody. You'd be surprised how quickly you can come up with a full 3 minutes of something, and then you can start, doing more to it. But just getting the chord progression together. Let me put a caveat on what I just said. I don't want to make that sound like it's easy, because I don't think anything that we do is easy. But for someone with your experience,
I don't know who you're talking to right now.
Is it you, Zach?
Okay.
He's pointing, Zach. Come on.
Yeah, top left. I know. So on my I have two screens. So on one screen you're top left, and on the other screen you're bottom right. So
well, that's great.
But yeah, I've got several friends in Austin who do the same thing that you do, and they've all said it's like when you sit down and you do that, what you've said is a freight train thing, where you just kind of go and you set a timer. They're like, just giving yourself little boundaries like that, you'd be surprised how quickly you come up with something.
Sure.
Yep.
No,
it's all intuition. And that's why I don't think it's easy, is because it all relies on 18 years, 20 years, 25 years of experience. And what your first intuition is, how your fingers move on the guitar and your go-to shapes, that's going to sound like you. And even though to you, you're like, oh man, that sounds really easy, and that's the first thing I came up with. That's your intuition. And to somebody else, that's going to be your first intuition is usually the best groove and melody.
Sure.
It's the first thing that you want to hear.
Well, even on that note, I feel like I'm a worse guitar player now than I was before, because when I was younger, I still felt like I sucked, but I didn't care. And now you're overthinking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's
that's
me
the
all the
biggest
time.
struggle. Yep. And that's honestly why I got a job. I just needed to get away from it, because who knows, one of the songs that I deleted, I try and start a song every day, and if I'm not feeling it in the first 30 minutes, I'll usually just trash it. Who knows if one of those could have been our next hit. You just don't know. But because in my head I'm like, man, this is really boring.
Yes, bottom right here again.
Bottom right. Yep.
So
I got you.
When you say you trash it, do you literally delete it, or do you just close the file down and put it in a file on your thing and well, I didn't get anything out of this?
Sometimes I'll keep it there. I can usually tell, if it's something that gets me bottom in my head, I'll usually hold on to it.
Okay.
And then especially if it's for Righteous Vendetta, I'll hold on to it. But for licensing, if I'm not feeling it in 30 minutes, I delete it.
Okay.
Just because that's how.
That sounds like speed
that's
dating. Just
how I work. It is speed dating, dude.
That's it. And here's pour some sugar on me. We're out.
That doesn't sound good. But yeah, no. So for licensing, if I'm not feeling it, and it's not if I can't picture a Chevy commercial, I always picture it with a Chevy commercial, no matter what. because I'm either doing metal or like dirty rock or, country. So I'm always like, okay, I'm picturing a badass Chevy just coming up and like that guy with like oh yeah, you need this thing, like, and I picture whatever song is behind that.
The
and
Kool-Aid Man?
If I'm vibing it,
Either that or Sam Elliott or Morgan Freeman.
Or,
those are the three.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, I need it.
That wasn't it.
Tomorrow's Justin's gonna get your call for the Kool-Aid commercial. Like, I got your riff. We're good.
Do this riff.
Oh
Well,
God.
and hey, for the record, if we're gonna stay on the 80s metal theme, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, but Def Leppard is one of your favorite bands, correct?
Favorite band of all time.
There you go. I just had to let everyone know.
favorite
Just
album.
above Hall & Oates. Favorite album?
Yes.
Hysteria.
So good.
Hysteria.
It's always, it goes back, so it goes back and forth. When it comes to Def Leppard, it goes back and forth between Pyromania and Hysteria for me.
Gods
Yeah,
of War
and
is
you
one of
either-
my favorite songs that no one ever has probably heard.
It's great. I think it's just because it's like kind of nerdy lyrics.
Yeah,
Like it's one of their songs. It's not like sexy lyrics. So
the guitar
like,
is
the little
sexy on
nerdy
it. Like just a
element.
little. Oh, it's fun.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
that whole
No,
album's great. But
it is. I've actually gotten in tussles with, because I mean, obviously with Def Leppard, all of their everything I love, but I've gotten in some battles about Pyromania and Hysteria.
You fought
Hysteria is
with
just one of
fists?
the. Huh? No, not
You
with
fought with your
fists.
fist? Okay.
No. I said some kind of mean things.
We
back in-
took a Def Leppard approach to the single that I'm recording right now. I said I want to go for that more 80s sound. Oh, that's dope.
There it is.
Wow.
That's neat.
I got the
Um,
cassette in my '94 Explorer, but it's cold outside, so I'm not gonna go get it.
That's a Ford. I thought you were a
That's a
Chevy
Ford.
guy.
No, I picture a Chevy commercial.
yeah,
Ford.
picture
At least they
a
circled the
Chevy
problem.
commercial, drive a Ford. That's just America.
Yep. And I drive my Kia to the gig. Yeah.
You got to drive the fuel efficient car there.
Exactly. Yeah, in eco mode.
But so I'd asked the producer who's producing my single. It's like, hey, I want to go more for an 80s sound, and the song that I'm doing is definitely more of the 80s pop rock side of things. But I said I want to go for more of that real crisp, clean 80s sound. He goes, cool. Have you ever recorded the drums separately? And I was like, you mean, yeah? Like, he goes, no. I mean, like, kick and snare by itself, and then the toms by themselves, and then the cymbals by themselves, and then the hi-hat by itself. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And he goes, yeah, we're gonna do it like they did with Def Leppard. And I was like, I'm sorry. My brain's just like,
Yeah.
what? And that was the weirdest session I've ever played. I don't know if I ever want to do that
I bet.
again, because I like the drums. I like the way that the drums sound when someone's playing them all together. But I got kind of like it's not even like I don't even want to classify it as a rough mix. It's just I got the session, like an MP3 bounce of the session. Drums sound pretty good. Not gonna lie,
Huh.
drums sound pretty
Yeah.
good.
That's
So what did
definitely
it
the only way you can get that. If you're not doing complete sampling, that's the only way you can get that, is
Yeah.
because I mean there's so much verb that you put on that, especially the toms.
Oh
Those things are just like big pieces of cardboard put over a barrel and just hit with like a.
yeah.
So when
Yeah,
you recorded it,
they're nasty.
was there a lot of like air drumming?
Yeah. They kept like stopping the song and pushing the button and go, hey, stop hitting your leg. We can hear it. And I'm like, "Ah, dang
Did
it.
they ever chime in and say you should record like 1985 album?
No, but yeah,
I
it
heard
was,
the
it was
story.
it was a super weird experience, and the three of us, the engineer, the producer, and the engineer and the producer are a team, so they're both co-producing. But yeah, we got into like a whole like hour and a half nerd conversation about the whole like why this is the way that it is, and the cardboard toms made me remember that we sat there and like we did the whole tom take, and I'm like, that sounded really good, and I just hear this. Were those toms like they had the little button in the thing in the control room going? And he goes, "Were those toms dead enough? Like, is the reverb gonna work?" I'm like, "What do you mean the reverb's gonna work? Yeah, it sounds fine." And I had never thought
Yeah.
about that. making the toms almost completely dead, so that when you put the reverb on there, it's even more present than it would be. I really wish that those things came through on the actual live stream, but they don't. So no one sees like the raised hand or like the it just bums me out, because it would make the comedic effect would be so much better.
Oh, but it made us laugh.
Dude, those toms are just straight attack, and then like the tail is not the sustain of the toms. It's just verb tail. That's it.
Yeah. It was interesting watching those guys like set up everything, and it's, you know, I engineer on my own at another studio, but what we're doing there is more, you know, fusion jazz. Like the guy who owns the studio, he's in that whole world, so it's a much more natural, organic music making thing. Like they don't nothing is overly produced. They don't put a whole lot of stuff on the drums or anything like that.
Right.
So like, yeah, going into the whole technical specs of, well, we're going to do this, you know, with the gate and the reverb and get the snare to have that real big crack to it. Because to me, when we listened back to it in the studio right after I'd recorded the kick and snare, I was like, the snare sounds like shit. And then he goes, no, don't worry about that. And then about 30 minutes later, you know, I got back from picking up lunch for everybody, and the snare was like this nice, like cracked, reverbed snare, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, you can do all that fancy shit.
Did you know that those guitars? You guys probably knew this, but those guitars are like, I'm pretty sure it was for all those records, but I know they used like that. What's that 80s amp that came out, like the a rock box or something? You know what I'm talking about?
The Line 6 Spider 212.
Yeah,
in the 80s.
That's the one. Yeah, there's in the 80s they came out with a box, and it was just a little box that was like early digital modeling, and it was the exact like 80s guitar sound. And I know they use that for some things, but a lot of stuff they use like 15 dimed 5-watt amps. Like that was the Def Leppard guitar tone, was like a ton of clean amps just playing all these different parts, but yet somehow they all compiled into like one riff.
Sounds so cool. Like they have like some of the best sounds. Like
if I could ever get Mutt Lang to be on this show, like I would just like, it would be his episode. I'd be like, cool, class dismissed permanently, because we're never gonna be cooler than this.
That's it. I don't think he's done like an interview or even like been out in public in years.
Yep.
Well,
until
Robin.
He married Shania Twain.
Honestly, Robin, it looks like you're getting ready for like a rap battle after this show.
Dude, I couldn't rap to save my life.
I'm just saying.
Like, ugh.
I'd like to see it.
No.
Either that,
no,
or like
wouldn't.
you're gonna make me like a coconut milk latte or something.
And then with a
Couldn't do that either.
topper with some little small marshmallows from Swiss Miss.
Actually, I feel like you own an actual nutmeg grater, and like you would grate nutmeg over something right now. Okay, you know what? Now that we've lost every single chick that's been watching,
we've literally gone from 8 to 5 people, literally in the time that you guys were making fun of me. So keep it going.
So let's test this theory.
Okay, well let's talk about something that'll get those numbers back up. I'll say it with 2 words, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jonah Prill. So, we will be having Jonah Prill on next week.
Nope, still 5.
Like, there are 100 people tuned in.
Dude, there is gonna be some ladies on that one for sure.
Dude,
I don't know
wear your nice Hurley hat, Robin.
No, I'm gonna like
backwards, please.
He's like in a tux. He's like, wait, what'd you say?
Dude, I'm wearing my nicest sleeveless for that show. Like, oh my goodness, guy,
I may have to put on plaid for that show. I don't know.
You should, lumberjack, but like
I do have a Lucky Brand like pearl snap shirt.
That's
and I'm
the
like,
one.
You got a puka necklace too?
Gosh, I've got some in a drawer somewhere if you want to borrow it. But dude, okay, like I'll probably say this next week too, Jonah. But like every chick that I like get a crush on like TikTok or Instagram or whatever, 9 times out of 10 they follow Jonah. It's
And
crazy.
and it's too late by then.
Yeah, he's what's funny is I don't think you talked to Ryan about Jonah on that episode.
No.
I did not.
So what's crazy about him, I remember when Ryan told me about it, I've been like, I'm a country, I only listen to country. That's like
And
when
Def
I'm
Leppard.
in my car, and Def Leppard. But like just when I'm in my car, I have the most modern pop country of country on. That's what I listen to.
Okay.
And or NASCAR if it's Sunday. But so it was something that I've been wanting to do a long time. So Ryan, like I would send songs to Ryan and he would like write vocals and try and sing it, and like it sounded cool, but it was also like kind of funny just because he's like a rock guy.
Can we hear these?
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I take it. I want to make sure you're telling us how the Jonah thing came about. Is that what you're getting to?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Because that was going to be my next question.
Oh yeah. Well, here we go.
Righteous.
Buckle up.
Sorry.
Saddle up. So yeah, Ryan and I had been writing country music. Well, we wrote one song, and it was the Friday Night, which is the song you released. And I remember writing that when I first got like Cubase and my recording set up, and I was like, "What do you think of this?" And he wrote like this country song, and some of the lyrics were changed, but like it's pretty close to what it is now.
Sure.
And so we sat on it for a long time, and we tried a couple singers, and anybody that's a really good singer is the biggest douche like ever. It just, I don't know what it is. We just couldn't find a singer that like one guy we had, he was pretty good in Billings, and he went out to Ryan's house and was to our studio over at Ryan's house, and he recorded like half the music, half the songs, and then he picked up his phone, he's like, "Oh bro, I gotta go." He's like a pop guy too. He's like, "I gotta go." Gets in his vehicle, rolls off, doesn't say anything. That's it. Goes back. Then like 2 weeks later, he texts me, and he's like, "Hey man, do you think you could write me a song like this?" And like sends me a song like that he wrote with somebody else, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't like you." I'm not. Yeah, no.
Did you respond to the text?
I think I did. I was like, "Yeah, no, I don't really want to."
I'm watching
we found somebody
NASCAR.
else.
Screw you.
Yeah, screw you, man. But so Ryan would send me like names, and Ryan is a lot more gung ho than I am. Like Ryan is like, "Dude, this and that. This is gonna be the greatest opportunity. This is gonna be this that," and I'm more of like, I don't know, that guy's probably a douche, or like, no, that's not gonna work out, or that guy's not, you know. And
for the record, y'all are a perfect yin and yang. Like I think that's why y'all work so well together. I mean, you've known him what, 15 years?
Yeah, we're polar opposites. Yeah, it just works. But and we've only had one major fight, and it was in a Kohl's shoe department.
Well, that makes sense. It's Kohl's shoe
Yeah,
department.
it's a pretty tense area.
If you've ever been to Kohl's.
If you've ever been to Kohl's, I got a Columbia wallet for $9.70 at Kohl's today. $9.70. Columbia.
That's great.
Was that after the Kohl's cash or not?
I don't have a Kohl's credit card.
No, I'm just saying sometimes they'll do the Kohl's cash. Like, come back next week. Kohl's cash.
I didn't get any Kohl's cash. I didn't spend enough. But so yeah, then Ryan told me about Jonah, and he was like, "Yeah, this guy's big on TikTok." And I looked at his TikTok, and I was like, "Geez, this guy's got a lot of followers." And I was like, "He is going to be the biggest dick bag. Like, I don't even want to meet him." And so then he was like, "Dude, just meet him. Like, he's cool." I think he took pictures of Righteous Vendetta right after I had stopped touring. So he took, I think he was like one of the guy's friends, and he took pictures of them for the tour, the first tour without me. And he was like, "Yeah, like just meet him." So we met at this like rinky-dink diner or whatever. And man, I was just like, okay, this guy is insanely good looking, like insanely cool, really humble. Like the whole time he's just like, you know, when you meet somebody that is like successful on a social media platform or something, you expect them to play the humble thing on their social media, but then outside be like, "Yeah, I know you know who I am." And dude, this guy just did not give a shit. He's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm Jonah. Yeah. Yeah, this would be really cool. It's great meeting you." You know, and I was like, this guy's like cool. And so it was a good first meeting. And then I just was like, started texting him, and like we started sharing who we liked, and we liked all the same artists and stuff. And yeah, then we all met for like a writing session. He's just, I only like working with cool people, like cool over talented any day. I mean, you can fake a lot nowadays. So I need somebody that I enjoy being around that isn't a cocky asshole, which is hard. I mean, to be honest, like just think, you wouldn't tell people to their faces, but it's hard.
Sure.
And so when you find somebody that doesn't have that thing, you're like, yep, I'm going to do everything I can to make this guy successful. Not even so much for you. Like you want to help them, and he's just one of those guys. I'm excited for him to be on here. He's a lot quieter, I think, than I'll be. It might stay on track a little more.
Dude, I met Jonah in Nashville, and Ryan had said, "Hey, do you want to grab some dinner? I'm hanging out here with somebody." And I was like, "Sure." And we went to this awesome Mexican food place that I took Robin to. Robin, remember?
Oh my God, it was so good.
Is it Superica or Superica?
I don't remember what it was, but I think I remember like we were eating it, and I'm like, okay, so whoever made this menu, they studied Tex-Mex, like.
Oh, okay.
And we found out later that one of the owners is from Texas.
The owner is from Texas.
Yeah.
So what I was about to say is it's the best Tex-Mex I've ever had, and I can say that without a doubt.
It's one of the best.
And it makes sense when we found out he was from Texas.
Because I'm sitting there, I was like eating it, I was just like, oh my God, this just reminds me of home. And the waiter was like, yeah, he's from Texas. Oh.
It made sense, and the service was incredible.
Yeah.
So Ryan shows up in Nashville with Jonah and Isaiah Perez, right? Yeah. And his lady, and I never met any of these people, and I was like, what up? Let's party on, Wayne. and we ate, and I had no idea who Jonah was. I was like, this is a really sweet kid. He was at the time he was getting ready for a TV show, and so he couldn't really eat much, so he was very particular on what he was eating. He's got to keep that six pack, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, I'm going to keep eating my cheese-filled enchiladas.
By the way, you want another beer?
I think he had one beer that night. But anyway, the point of my story is absolute sweetheart, and you wouldn't expect that, because he very good-looking dude, very successful on social media, and I'm very excited for his career, man. And I look forward to seeing what you guys do with him.
Yeah, we'll see. It's definitely we're taking it slow. I mean, with Righteous Vendetta, it was always like hitting everything as hard as we possibly can. Like taking every opportunity, like every investment opportunity, every label opportunity. With him, we're like, okay, let's line this shit out. Let's make money while he's growing. Like you can play the long game in a genre like country.
Sure.
It just takes that one song to ride you for a few years.
You know what I love about country is country sees no age. They see nothing. Like
no, I'm with you, Zach. Robin might have gone but seriously, like Kenny Chesney or Garth Brooks,
Chris Stapleton, love Chris Stapleton, but I mean, great. I don't know what to say here.
Well, even Bon Jovi was like, "Hey, we're hair metal, and now we're country. We're good."
But like,
they're definitely more like geared a little more towards like pop, but they do I see what you're saying, because they do accept so they have their pop thing, they have like their young, 25 to 33, like they have that thing. But then, you get somebody. I mean, Luke Combs. Luke Combs is the most normal-looking dude you'll ever see, and he's just number one face of country.
What was it like? Dierks Bentley does like "Drunk on a Plane." Like you can't really do that anymore. But that song was great when it came out, and the dude doesn't look like anything special.
You can't get drunk on a plane.
Well, in theory, no, because you got to wear a mask and all that stuff. But
I'm gonna try it. I can hide it pretty good.
So I think the only thing I will say is if you fly Delta Comfort Plus, you can drink some wine and beer. And they will give you water and some crackers. Actually, I got my crackers left from last little adventure. If anyone wants them.
I have to eat them right away because I'm always starving on a plane.
That's what I do. Forget it.
I'm always sleeping on a plane.
Almonds and crackers.
One of my friends just got a position with JetBlue, and I love JetBlue. Unlimited snacks, and they have good snacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of my story.
If they only
Never
had
flown jet.
if they only had good flights out of Austin.
I'll be honest.
That would
One of
be
the
an
best
issue
flights.
for you
this-
too.
This sounds weird, but one of the best flights I ever had was on the way back from Ireland. Now I sound really bougie, but I was flying and they gave me pasta, which honestly is probably the worst pasta I've ever had in my life. But it was good because it was on a plane, and I watched Casablanca. Felt very bougie.
Like you made it.
Yeah, and I was drinking
That was
wine.
it.
It was awesome.
There you go.
That's,
That was it.
that's a
That's
great
my
story,
story.
TJ. Well, I asked you about if you like mullets. We talked about Jonah. We talked about music placement. I've got everything on my list. Robin and TJ, did y'all have any other questions you had for Mr.
I've already
Justin?
teased him about NASCAR, so I'm good.
Yeah. Hey, go Chase Elliott. And
Well-
Truex. And Truex. I'm down.
I'm not a true X.
I think the only thing that was
Logano.
disappointing me,
Logano too.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that someone was gonna come in and just start handing you beers like you did with Ryan.
My wife asked if she wanted me to do that, and I was like, or if I wanted her to do that, and I was like, I'll just line them up here. It'll be
Man, what a
Okay, all right.
cool, awesome wife. I want someone's
I
like,
know.
hey, do you want me to hand you beer on stage? Yes, please. That sounds wonderful.
Just Stone Cold
Dude.
Steve Austin it.
Well, I have that. So, Justin, here's a question for you. So, when I first started doing the solo thing and was like, first getting used to fronting a band and like, being like the band playing together and doing things, I would intentionally write into the set times to like actually break and like drink water. And it got to a point where what I would do would be like, if like my parents were at a show or a good friend was at the show, I'd have like one of them like bring me a glass of water to like intentionally break the show right there. Did you guys ever do anything like that when you guys were first starting, before you had like all of it down, just to kind of like get your head out of like being nervous or whatever? Which is why I would do that.
No, right, dude. We were just balls to the wall, like song after song after song after song. I don't even know if I drank water.
We probably
Like,
just sweat
like,
it out
for
a
the
bunch
first-
of the time, right? Like just sweat
Yeah,
it out, drink, sweat it out.
Yeah, there was just something about it's been so long since like the beginning, but I do remember like up until we started getting like the bigger tours and stuff, and we like, because we went half the time without even playing to a click track. We had drummers that were tight enough, and we played like the metalcore stuff, so we didn't even have a click track. So in between every song, Ryan was like, yeah, it's awkward to talk, and I don't know what to say, so let's just go into the next song. So it was just nonstop show. And then by the time we started having timed sets, I was an alcoholic, so I would just have a bucket of beer behind my amp. And I would just take, there wasn't a specific break, so I would just I would just go at it. Like I'd be playing something that I knew I could play with my left hand and go grab my beer with my other hand.
And then do a little slide guitar.
I've done that.
There you go.
I've done that with Pauline, the lady that I play with. When I'm playing bass, I'll do something and I'll like, when she's got this one song where it's basically we're just hitting D for the whole verse, and so I'll just like pull the D, like I'll detune my E string and just pull it with my finger. I'll just go take a drink.
Yep, that's the time to take a drink, dude. The last couple tours I did was with a Linkin Park cover band, and man, those songs, like, Linkin Park, their parts are really well written, but they're not that hard.
No.
The guitar parts are not that hard. And man, so I was just like, we would get to the venue at noon, and it was like all those cover gigs, so like in the restaurants and stuff, and I would just start drinking at noon, and I was pretty hammered by the time the show even started. And so like I would just get the bucket of beer just sitting up on my Kemper and everything, just sitting right on top of it. And yeah, I would just like grab the bottle and just do slides where there's not slides, and it was a good time. From what I remember, it was a good time.
And I want to
That's my
thank you.
story.
I do feel special for you being here, and especially because I see you lit your special candle.
I did, dude. That's my special one.
So I guess I should clue everybody in. So I love a great candle. There's a specific candle I get. It's oh my gosh, I'm blanking. It's whiskey and oak. Yeah, oak and whiskey.
Mhm.
It
Kind
smells.
of the same thing.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And I remember I texted Justin about it. I was like, man, you guys try this candle out. And he's like, bro, I have a candle that I only light when I finish a song. And he's had it lit the entire time. So thank you. Now, what is that
That's
candle?
the one. It's called Abbott Mojave. It doesn't say it right on there. It's
lost TJ.
It's like NYC something. Oh man.
We lost TJ. Oh well. Now we have a nice Skype logo there, so Skype sponsor us.
It's New York City Abbott, the Mojave scent. It's quite pricey, but it's worth it.
Right on, man. Well, I'm glad it smells great. Dude, I found that candle that you told me about at the Target. There was a whiskey and oak one as well. But I've got to tell you, I gave it the whiff test, and I got to stick with the one that I get from my local HEV.
That's respectable. I don't got Hebs up here, man. I gotta stick with Target.
TJ, are you okay, buddy?
Oh, he's gone. Like, he's disconnected.
No.
Oh, there he is.
Couldn't hold in that pee. I couldn't hold in that pee, and I didn't want to do it on screen.
Oh. I was like,
I won. That was my thing. I was gonna hold my pee longer than TJ,
What's
and I won.
funny is I was gonna be like, "Hey, have you ever peed on stage?" And when I thought of that question, or like not peed on stage, but like I'd be like, "All right, guys, cut this guitar solo short." And then I was like, "Well, now I just thought about pee." So.
Oh, I gotta pee.
So have you ever peed on stage?
No, I haven't. There has been times where like if we're playing a really shitty show for like nobody there, which is, I mean, you know, most bands don't say that they play those, but that's what most shows are. And dude, one venue we played was just like a little box stage, and the pisser was like, you had to basically get up on the stage and go like behind the band and go to the, and I was just like, I mean, I kind of have to pee. I have wireless. I'm gonna go pee. That was back when like doing stuff like that was cool.
Wait,
you know?
so you peed with your guitar in the bathroom and played drop D? Well,
I was playing.
It was.
Yeah.
See what I did, boys? I just created the show. I created the ending.
Well, because what's great, that's the best part about playing in a band. Back then we were all drop B, and so it was just, as long as you're playing open, it basically fits. Like somebody'd be like, huh, something's off, but it was at least enough where I could unbutton my pants and do that. And so then I'd be like going and playing, and then I'd just do a quick pull up and out I go. Yeah. So I did it once.
I just imagined you like just doing a quick pull up before going on stage.
Oh man.
No, I was not the Ryan was the guy. Ryan was the guy on stage that did that stuff.
What, pull-ups?
Like during he should have, yeah. Like he restroomed in his pants a number of times on stage.
Did you just say restroomed?
Restroomed.
Did he really?
I'm trying to keep this. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to keep the 5 viewers on here.
We're up to 500 now.
500 now. 4. I mean, we've been having a great time though. That's what matters.
That's all that matters.
That's
When the people, you know, when the massive amount of fans that we're gonna get,
they come back and
they come back and they listen to the original shows. They're gonna be like, man, we should have listened earlier.
Yep, and Justin's gonna go back on tour and then restroom in himself and
a restroom in.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, I saw that episode.
Next time
we do it too.
I wonder if Ryan's
you
watching.
ain't cool unless you restroom in yourself.
Thank you, Billy.
He might be watching.
I was about to be.
But yeah, no. So that was back in the day, like that was when we first got wireless. Like obviously it was the cool thing where you just figured out what you could do with your wireless, what you could get away with, you know.
I did that at the Houston Rodeo. That was like the Houston
like
Rodeo.
Riding a bull?
What? No.
Oh,
I got wireless for the first time, like when I was playing.
Oh.
And so it's like I was sitting there and I was like, I don't have a cord. I can like go over like to the other side of the stage. I could walk to the bar, and the weird, like, that was the first time that I'd ever played a show that was like as big as it was. Like it was like 2,000 people in this tent. But instead they were supposed to be dancing because we're playing country music and they're supposed to be dancing, but they weren't, and they were all just pressed up against the stage and watching, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like I'm a drummer primarily, so I'm usually back there seeing everybody pressed up against the stage. Like when I did, when I was younger and did like the punk shows and whatnot, like I was back on the drums. Like I didn't have to fear that. And so I'm playing the bass, and I was able to like actually walk up to the front of the stage, because usually I'm back farther. So I like walk up to the front of the stage, and this girl just grabs my pant leg and like looks at me, and I'm like,
did you restroom in your pants at that point?
Yeah, she like grabbed my pant leg and she looked at me, she goes, "Can I play your guitar?" And I was like, later? Like, what is happening? And I'd never experienced that in my life. And so I was like very startled. And Pauline, the lady that I play with, who's been doing this for 30 years, she just kind of looks at me and she's like, "It's weird, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Try being a girl walking up to the front of the stage and having someone grab your pant leg." Like,
right.
I'm like, "Oh God."
Oh, yeah, that's the one thing. Like, and honestly, we played such small stages so often that it didn't even matter, like, that it was wireless. You were like at the front of the stage whether you wanted to be or not.
Yeah.
And man, at a certain point of the show, they just start like hitting your guitar strings, and you're just like, dude, what are you doing? Because like all those small stages, they're like, I mean, you're a little above them, but only like this much above them. And so they're just like playing your guitar and turning your knobs down, and you're like,
not cool, bro.
There's a band that I would love to have on the podcast, or a guy from the podcast. It was an old like UK band called Jet Black with 2 T's. Phenomenal. They're awesome. Jet Black.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to have the band Jet on here.
Well, that'd be fun too. But their lead singer was pretty shredded. Or not lead singer, lead guitarist was pretty shredded. And he said, like, I was reading like the magazine. I think I paid like $20 for it to get it over here from like even the UK or something. And he said some girl started undressing him, like his pants, as he was playing his solo. And he's like, don't do that. I got to finish the solo. Don't do that.
And you paid $20 to read that.
No,
read that article.
Because I think it was like when Santa Cruz and Crazy Licks and all those guys were coming out over there. And so like I was reading through the magazine. I was like, that's interesting.
Oh, man.
But yeah. I really set that up well. I paid $20 to read that article.
Okay. Well, I have had all my answers questioned.
Hey, my big thing was Strangers, man. That song was awesome. Like all you guys' songs are great, but
that one is really fun to me because that was the only, so that record, there was one song that we didn't write period on it, and I won't say, it's probably easy to pick out which one it was. And that was the one that that was the only one they would push. But that was all Ryan's episode, was all that crap. But so Strangers was the one we needed one like single, which they always say single. It never ends up being a single.
Yeah.
And we left the room, and Ryan and I were just out like drinking Coors Light, probably playing Doom or something. And we went back in because our producer was like, just give me like an hour. And so we went back in, and he had that acoustic part laid down, and then he had that riff, but flip-flopped. It was like on the beat. So it had that acoustic lick, and then it did like and I was like, that's cool. But then I was like, man, but what if it was like upbeat? So like like that groove in it, because I love how like when the guitar is off from the drums, and so when that first hit would be the kick, and then the guitar would take over that second one. And then from there, we just ran with it. And so that was the one that we were able to like fully co-write with our producer. And that dude, his name's Mitch Marlowe, and he's unreal talented. So that's why that one's really special to me, because that one is like, it's got a lot of him littered on it.
Well,
except the guitar solo, Dick. I recorded that.
Like I said, I was like, this is my song I'm picking for the post today on mine. And then right away you like reposted it. And I was like, oh, you must not hate that song.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite songs.
I didn't want to be like Cherry Pie with like Janie Lane, be like, screw you, I'm not going on the podcast. And I'd be like, shit.
I mean, with that one, as much as he complains about it, his wallet's very fat. Thanks to it.
Well, I'd be pissed too if they had forced that. They'd written that entire album.
Well, CeCe DeVille did the guitar solo on it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Can I say something controversial?
Absolutely.
To 80s, if anybody like 80s heaven watches this, like
right.
Richie Kotzen was the best thing of Poison through their whole existence.
Interesting take. Very interesting take.
Until he slept with the drummer's wife. But
was that why he got booted?
yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
or was it
man.
wife or
Ricky
fiance?
Ricky Rocket. Yep.
Okay. But okay,
Yeah.
so I shouldn't say that. Like, so all of their hits, I mean, obviously their hits are insane, like smashes, and I love all those. But that guy, I'm bummed that guy didn't show up on more records because he
didn't come along
insane.
until
Native Tongue album.
yeah. I mean, he was later in the Poison.
Yeah,
Yep.
and there
Story.
wasn't
That's when
really
they had,
any. Stand was the only hit I think they had.
Yeah.
And even
on
that,
that
like,
record.
it's not my favorite, but like, it was still pretty solid guitar. But
Have you ever listened to
See,
Winery Dogs?
Yep. Minor Dogs.
I have. It was a little too. I'm not as much of a Billy Sheehan guy. I think he's insane, but
Too much, if you ask me.
it throws me off because it's like a guitar tone.
Especially like
it's-
him and Steve Vai together, or like Paul Gilbert, whatever. It's like,
Yeah, with Mr. Big.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So
oh yeah, he was with David Lee Roth. It was David Lee Roth, him and Steve Vai. Like, that's too
Jeez.
much.
Yeah.
Billy Sheehan's one of those guys that
And I don't even know who played bass for David Lee Roth then, but can you imagine being like, I'm the bass player? Or, not the bass player, the drummer, I mean.
Yeah.
Is that what he looks like?
Well, he's just like, I don't know what to do, guys. You guys are good. Whatever.
Well, Billy Sheehan's one of those guys that I've always put him in the same category as like Carter Beauford, the drummer for Dave Matthews. He's a phenomenal drummer, but he only works in Dave Matthews. Like if he was trying to do this anywhere else, it just wouldn't work. And Billy Sheehan's kind of that way. To me, it's like he really, really works in Mr. Big, and he really, really works in Winery Dogs. That's where he works. If he was trying to play in anybody else, it would just be weird. So
He could sell out a crowd though with his bass solos. I'm like, how do you do that?
well, like when they did Mr. Big did, was it Bob O'Reilly live? And Paul Gilbert was doing the keyboard part, and Billy Sheehan came in with the big bow, 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 which I didn't know until today. But live, that's actually what the Who would do. Pete Townsend would be over there. He would set the keyboard doing what it was doing, and then John Entwistle would come in with the bass doing that big lick thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just saw a video of them doing it live today.
Well,
yeah.
Now we learned something this episode.
There you go.
What should do? Hey, Robin, what year was Van Halen's album? That
you mean 1984?
Oh, 84. I thought it was 85 for some reason.
Yeah, you want to just Zach, how are we doing on the show?
I'm just letting you guys talk, man.
We always do this thing at the end. Welcome to this, Justin. Like, we were gonna wrap it up, and then we went ADD for another 20 minutes. So
it's all good.
This should be our OnlyFans part.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Hey, we can.
OnlyFans.com/rockdetention. No underscore.
Well, dude, I had so much fun on this. Like I said, even if I just liked I honestly forgot we were live. I thought we were just like hanging out.
Nope, we were live
That's
the whole
probably
time.
why nothing made sense, because we were just like, yeah, just chilling. This is pretty much how our phone conversations go. Me and Zach too.
We never know where it's gonna go. Well, Justin, thank you so much for being here, brother. It's always a pleasure talking with you, and you're always welcome here. If you ever want to promote something or tell us something new you're doing, you're always welcome. So thank you for being here.
All right, thanks, partner.
All right, partner.
What do I do now?
I don't know what to do with my
just
hands.
sit there and look cool.
You didn't say
I was
TJ, so I'm still
prepping.
waiting.
I was prepping that ending line for. I thought that's where it was going to cut off. I was prepping that ending line for the whole episode.
All right. Anyway, Justin, thank you so much for being. Fuck.
Did you just spill your beer?
Yes.
Damn it.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Justin. Oh no, it's not my turn.
Let me finish. Damn it. Thank you all.
Is your guitar okay? That's really what matters.
No, I've got beer all over the strings. Thank you
That's
guys
fine.
for tuning in here. We'll see you next week. God bless you all. TJ.
Thank you, Justin. It was a blast. Thank you all. Love you all. Love you, Justin. This is great. Not to be weird, but you the man.
Well,
Life is good. Subscribe if Robin doesn't tell you to. Everyone, tell your friends and your other friends. And even if we just get over 100, we don't care. We just want the rocked attention. We don't want the gibberish at the end.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Yeah,
Robin,
Justin,
over to you.
Justin, thank you so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun. Always love hearing, musicians that are working on the other side of things that aren't just like, the stars in the spotlight. Always love talking with those musicians just because they have such interesting stories, and so it was a lot of fun. We're gonna have to go to a NASCAR race at some point together.
I want to go
and
next
then maybe
weekend.
maybe I can talk you into going to an F1 race. So.
All right, it'll be a good trade-off.
Yeah, we'll trade off. So, but yeah, as TJ said, hit the subscribe button. Go follow us on all the social medias and whatnot. Zach and TJ are really good about, making posts and doing all that. I'm awful at it, as we saw from the beginning of this this podcast tonight. Yes, those are a fully automatic Nerf gun in the corner over there. So
hipster Robin doesn't sound as excited about him this time around.
Well, because I'm trying to figure out new ways to sneak it in, and just so I tried the nonchalant way of just throwing it, and that didn't work. So I'll find new ways to sneak it in throughout the show. But yeah, so we'll be back next week. What we got Jonah Prill next week?
Yep.
Yep.
So we got Jonah Prill next week, and yeah, we'll be back then. So
he's got more followers than all of us combined.
Yeah.
No offense, Justin. No offense, guys, or me.
That's true.
Well, my camera died, and I look like this.
Love it.
So
let's do some slam poetry.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, class dismissed.
Is this thing still on?
I mean, do you want it to still be on? I mean, we can stay on.